Yeah, I'm in an interview right now, so worst time to call me.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. All righty. All right, Officer Chandler, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the first thing, do you realize that you're under oath and threat of perjury for this interview?
Say that again. You're kind of hard to understand.
This interview is going to be under oath and threat of perjury. So I'm asking just to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, basically.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now let me hold on 1 second here. Let's see here. Can you hear me? Hello, you hear me?
Yes.
All right, good. All right, now I can hear you better. I had to put you over to Bluetooth. My speaker is real low. All righty. All right. So anyway, I started off with this is under oath. Can you state your name and badge number?
Name is Officer Chandler. Badge number is 48788.
And why didn't you answer that when I asked you that day 5 times? Why couldn't you just tell me that quick?
This is the first time I've heard it.
I asked you 5 times on the day that you arrested me. You remember that?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and tell me everything that you remember about that day, starting with the date. You know what date that was?
According to case report number 2209260183, so I'm guessing it would be September 26th from 2022.
Okay. And do you remember being the address that you met me at on that day?
I would have to look at my case report to confirm that address.
I'm just asking if you remember it. So do you remember? You remember about where it was at?
Prince area, I think.
Okay.
I would have to look to confirm everything.
And you remember what the call was?
Let me look at my case report.
No, I'm asking if you remember without looking at your case report.
I don't want to give you a non-true answer, so I would have
So the answer is no, you don't remember. If you don't remember, just tell me you don't remember. But I'm asking if you remember.
specifically what the call was.
Yes.
I think it was like a shots fired call or something like that.
Okay, shots fired. And then who fired the shots? Was it Tucson Police Department?
I would have to look at my case report again.
So you don't remember then? I'm just asking if you remember who fired the shots.
I think it was, if I remember correctly, a suicide.
Suicide by cop or he shot himself, you thinking?
Pretty sure it was shot himself, because if it was officer involved shooting, I think this would be a different turnout.
Okay, so tell me everything you do remember what happened that day.
I would have to look at my case report.
Now, I want to know what you remember without looking at your case report. What do you remember right now without looking at that?
That's an unreasonable question. I decline to answer that because because I can't.
I'm trying to ask you what you remember. So I'm really not here. I got your case report. I know what you said on your case report, and so I already have that.
That's what I'm going to refer to. I do 100 calls of these a day. I would have to refer to my case report to refresh my memory.
So you do 100 calls every day, or on this day you did 100 calls
I said hundreds of calls we do.
a day?
Well, no, that would be just absurd and unreasonable.
Well, that's what you said. So I'm just trying to have you tell me, why you can't remember. And this was like what, 8 months ago?
I didn't do the math, so if you say it's 8 months ago, I guess so.
Okay. Anyway, let's go. Let's get back on point here. So can you tell me everything you remember about that day?
I would have to refer to my case report.
So you don't remember nothing without going to your case report?
And not if you want accurate answers.
See, I'm asking you what you remember, not what your report says. I don't think you understand this. So I'm just asking you what you remember.
I understand the question, and I'm telling you, without referring to my case report, I cannot answer that question.
So you don't remember nothing that's not written on your report? Is that what we're saying?
I didn't say that. It just depends on what you ask.
Okay, I'm asking you what you remember about that day
Stand by.
without looking at your report.
Again, decline to answer. You asked that 5 times.
Yeah, but you ain't told me yet. I want to know what you remember without looking at your report.
Stand by 1 second. Try it on 4-6. If you have a dispatch to a call alarm on and starting an attorney interview. Okay, sorry, go ahead with that again.
Okay, yeah, the question was, tell me everything you remember about what happened that day. I just want to know what you remember.
Like stated, I would have to refer to my case report. I'm not going to speculate about anything.
But I'm not asking you what your report says. I'm asking what you remember. Are you telling me you don't remember nothing that ain't written on your report?
Depends on what you ask, I said. If this is what's going to loop, we're going to end the interview now because, like I said, I'm going to refer to my case report because I'm not going to speculate on what I said or did.
So I'm trying to figure out what you remember. That's all. And I'm trying to see if you remember anything about that day without looking at the report. So the answer is no, you don't, correct? You're saying
Probably it was hot, sunny, I guess.
okay. It was a hot day. Okay. And then in the call on Prince, about what time was that? You remember?
No, I don't. I would have to refer.
Okay. All right. That's your answer. Okay. No problem. Okay. On, let's see here. Let me go back to some on your report here. Okay. Let's talk about your report. So
What report are you referring to?
the report that you wrote, it's P22.
Case number.
It's P2209260183-1.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So can you tell me on that day, you remember the name of the manager?
My report says the manager of the apartment complex.
Yeah, I'm asking if you remember the name of her.
No, in my case report, it says the property manager is April Binder.
Okay. All right. So, and when you saw April Bender, where was she at?
In a parking lot, according to my case report.
Okay. And then who was she talking with? Was she standing next to somebody, or was she just standing there by herself?
per my case report, April Bender, she's with the property man advised mail, so okay, there.
I got a print.
So it looks
I can
like
get a copy of that.
after I advised the mailed subject, Officer Aguilar was with the property manager of the complex, April Bender.
Okay, I need that back. So, yeah, so, all right, and then, she was talking to Aguilar, you saying?
It just says, after I advised the mailed subject, Officer Aguilar was with the property manager.
Okay, and what was he talking to her about, you know?
I have no idea.
Okay, and then, when's the first time that you came aware of another person walking up?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Okay, you remember a person walking up with a camera, and you remember that?
Like when and where? Like, you gotta have to give me some context.
Okay, right when you was talking, when April Binder was standing there on the 15th, on that date that we were talking about here, the 28th of September.
Mark, you keep on going in and out.
Okay, my voice is going in and out. Sit down. Yeah, my voice is going in and out.
Yep,
This is Bluetooth.
I hear you now.
All right, I was moving it, I think. All right, so anyway, on that day, April Binder was standing next to Sergeant Aguilar, right?
I have it as Officer Aguilar.
Okay, yes, Officer Aguilar. She was standing next to Officer Aguilar, okay? And then was there a guy that walked up with a camera?
My report states they're standing in front of the mail recording, and I took her away from the view of the camera so she did not have to be in the environment since one of her tenants just killed himself, and she was still shook up.
Okay, but I'm asking you, do you remember that? Do you remember that without looking at your report?
No, like I said, now I have to refresh my
Okay,
memory to
all
give
right,
you
so-
accurate, concise answers.
All right, so you know you don't remember. I'm just asking for what you remember. So anyway, what did you say? The guy that walked up with the camera, do you remember him?
Walked up to a camera?
No, walked up to the scene holding the camera.
As stated here in my case report,
Do you remember a guy walking up with a camera?
walking up to a camera.
No, walking up to you with a camera.
I don't remember anyone walking up to me to a camera. I remember
Okay.
walking to a person with a camera. according to my
Okay.
case report.
Okay, that person was standing there. You walked up to a person with a camera. Okay, what's the first thing that you said to that person?
Without referring to my case report, let me take a look. So here it says, I approached male subjects, now there are two, one in an orange shirt, another in a black shirt, who stated they were live feeding the recording. I told them that they were trespassing, need to leave. Is that what you're looking for?
I'm looking to for what you saw, not and what you remember. I'm trying to get at what you saw and what you remember of that day.
Well, that's what my case report's for, because that's what I remember, that's what I saw.
So you have no memory outside of your case report?
Like I said, we do. This is dime a dozen, man. But to give you accurate and concise answers, I would have to refer to my case report.
Okay, so on your report too, it says that you told them they were trespassing and needed to leave. They started and they were live feeding the recording. Why do you say they was live feeding? Did they tell you they was live feeding the recording?
It must be if it's in my case report.
Okay, and then did you have your body cam on that day?
Yes.
And was you recording this whole thing?
I wouldn't remember if I was or not.
Did you review your body cam?
Negative.
Did you do anything today to prepare for this interview other than read your report?
That's about it. Read your report.
And you didn't view no body worn cameras of anybody?
No, I cannot review my body worn camera.
Why is that?
Because it's under investigation and sealed from me right now.
Is that investigation still going on?
I haven't been advised otherwise.
Have you been disciplined, anything for that report?
I haven't been advised otherwise yet.
So they ain't told you anything about that yet. It's still under investigation.
As far as I'm aware of.
Okay.
That's why I cannot access my body worn camera. I have not heard anything from the Office of Professional Standards reference that.
And then usually on normal cases, are you allowed to view your body worn camera?
I would guess so, I guess.
So when you was talking to the manager, referring to the guy that was recording or whatever, how did you refer to him? The guy in the black shirt or the guy, Roy? Did you know his name at that time?
Let's see. It says, in my case part, moments later, Officer Nye told me there was a male subject wearing a black shirt and blue jeans that was video recording. I walked over to the male subject and advised him that he could record, but he could not pass the designated area.
Okay, did he pass the designated area?
The designated area?
Yeah, you just said.
I recall.
Okay, and did he? So you told him it was okay to record, and it was okay to be where he was at, right?
Sure.
And then you went to talk to the manager to get him trespassed.
No, I spoke to the manager because they waved me over for my case report page correctly.
All right, and the body cam, it shows you walking away, and she was going to her office, and you waved her other. Is that correct?
That's what it shows. That's what it shows. I could not testify to that. Never seen it.
Okay, so no, I'm not talking about your body cam. I'm talking about Aguilar's. So you know that you did have body camera. You just can't review it yet, correct?
I can't review it. You are correct.
But you do have it. You did record that day.
Couldn't tell you if I did or not because I can't review it.
So, but to your recollection, you think you recorded it, or it wouldn't be held from you, probably, correct?
I don't know. Common sense, I guess. Common sense would say that. I guess. I don't know. I don't know why they withhold things and what they don't. That's beyond my pay grade.
Okay, so back to as soon as you approached Roy, what was he doing that made you go back and ask the manager to go on the other side of the SUV?
Who's Roy?
Roy is the guy that you arrested.
So is he black shirt?
Yeah. Okay, we'll call him black shirt. To make it simple for you. So how did you refer to April Binder? How did you refer to him, the guy in the black shirt? How did you tell her?
I don't recollect that. I can read my report. Standing on the front of the mail recording, I took her away from view from the camera so she did not have to be in the environment. Since one of her tenants just killed herself, she still shook up. She stated that the male subject had trespassed and she wanted them gone.
The male subject, so that's the guy in the black shirt. She wanted the guy in the black shirt gone.
Well, it says subjects because there's two, one in an orange shirt and other in a black shirt.
That's when you came back. I'm still talking about what you said to her before you walked back. So before you went there was only a guy in a black shirt, and you was talking to her about the guy in the black shirt, correct?
I wouldn't recall if there was just a guy standing in a black shirt or orange shirt. My case report states that she stated that male subjects, plural, were trespassed and wanted them gone. Not wanted him gone, wanted them gone.
Okay, well, okay, then after that, keep on reading.
Now there are two, one in orange and other
Okay,
in black
yes.
shirt.
Okay, stop with that. Okay, now, so when you came back, you say now there were two. First there was one, now there was two, one in an orange shirt and now one in a black shirt, correct?
I approached the male subjects. Now there were two, one in an orange shirt and the other in a black shirt.
Yes. Okay, so that means when you came back there, now there was two males. There was not just one, but there was two now.
It could be. I don't know. I
That's
don't
what
recall.
I'm asking you. You wrote that. Why would you say now there were two? If there was two in the beginning, why would you say now there were two when you came back?
It'll be a poor use of grammar.
But you say now there were two, one in orange.
Or when it's setting up a paragraph.
So, yep, so you say now there were two, one in orange and one in black. Okay, so before you went back there, was the guy in an orange shirt there first or the guy in a black shirt? So the first time there was one guy, was it the black shirt guy?
Like I said, to tell you for sure other than what my case report says.
Okay, so your body cam would show that, correct?
Hopefully.
Okay, so before you walked back there to talk to April Binder, do you remember how many two people were there? How many people were there?
I do not recall unless I look at my case report.
Okay, when you was back there, I want to know what did you say? What exactly did you say to April Binder?
It says in my case.
No, I'm asking you what you said to her. What did you say to her?
Since I don't have my case report or my body worn camera, I can't review it. And then in here in the case report, it sounds like she approached me and talked.
Okay, Aguilar. So where was you at when she approached you? Where was you standing at?
I couldn't tell you exactly where she was standing at.
Then are you sure that she approached you and you didn't approach her?
For my case report, see here. It says I took her away out of the view of the camera.
Okay. Hold on one second here. You took it. Where did you take her to?
Behind the vehicle.
Okay. Yeah, she's behind a police vehicle.
Exactly. Bring it up.
Okay. I'm gonna. So tell me what else. What else do you remember about what you said to April Binder?
I don't.
So you don't remember one thing you said to her at all? You remember how long that you was back there talking to her?
Nope.
All right, hey, Vanessa, flip it around. Come copy it. All right, so I'm making a copy of this, your report, so I can blow it up. I don't see it very good with my eyes, so I'm gonna blow it up a tiny bit so I can see. So, because you refer a lot to your report, other than your report and the body camera that you can't review, is there any other ways that you have to remember things? Like when you, a lot of times, let me ask you a question. So a lot of times when you go to court is 2 years after the case a lot, right?
Could be.
So what do you do in them cases to remember when they're asking you what you remember? How do you go about that?
I try to refer to the case report, and then sometimes things, I guess the memory, I'm not a psychologist, but some things stick out and you're like, oh, okay, and it leads to something, oh, okay, I remember that now. But for the most part, no, it's just a case report.
So in your body cam, It was the day that the day on the 26th. You went back the next day also to get reports from the two victims, the so-called victims, correct?
I don't remember.
It's not working?
No, which way do I flip?
Okay.
Ground?
Yeah. You don't remember anything about that?
I don't, like I said, I don't remember staying out
Running around and shit, it sucks.
Okay. Now I got, all right, now I got your case report back blown up, so I can actually read it. So, yeah, I was having a hard time reading. All right, so I got your report again. So this is your whole memory in my hand anyway. So let's go over this a little bit. I'm still going to ask you things about what you remember. I'm hoping that you'll start remembering things after you read your report. Okay, so when you came back there, so you said that you went behind there on your report. You went back there to talk to her. Then when you walked back, you put, now there were two, one in orange shirt and the other in black. So do you remember which color shirt I was wearing that day?
Well, by deductive reason, if Mr. Roy was black, then you would have to be orange.
Yeah, but you don't remember that?
I had never met you before, so
Yeah, but yeah, I have more than one
seeing
shirt.
someone your size would be hard to miss. So I guess by deductive reason, the orange would be you.
Okay, so when you came back out there, there were two. There was me and Roy, both, right?
So when you say coming back out, where?
From behind the car, where you walked back behind the car to talk to April Binder. You said, right?
Let's see. Sure.
So when you came back, you know how long you was back there with April Binder?
I'm gonna tell you.
Okay, but when you walk back, now there were two. So when you walk back from behind the car talking to April Binder, you say now there were two, one in orange and the other in black shirt.
Sure, I guess.
So if you said that, so before you left, it goes to reason that there was only a guy in the black shirt there, correct? When you came to talk to April
You wanna
Binder.
go with that train of thought? Okay.
Well, I'm going by what you're written in your report because this is your memory.
Sure.
So that's why I'm going with this because you don't remember. You don't remember.
That's fine.
You don't remember before you went back how if there was the guy in orange shirt was there yet, right?
Sure, I don't.
But
That'd be correct. That'd be a fair assumption.
and then if there was two people there, you wouldn't have put now. Now there were two, one in orange and the other in black. Would that be another fair assumption?
Sure, that's fair.
So when you was talking to April Binder, you couldn't have mentioned the guy in the orange shirt because you didn't know he was there yet, correct?
Like I said, I don't remember what I said to her.
Well, so she didn't trespass the guy in the orange shirt, right? She just trespassed the guy in the black shirt. Is that what you're saying?
According to my report, she says them.
Okay, just because you wrote them down there, does that mean that I don't see how she could have known about the guy in the orange shirt if he wasn't there at the time before you walked
I
back?
can't speak for Mrs. Bender. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, so but you put now there were two. So why would you put that if the guy in the orange shirt was there before you went back? That doesn't make sense, does it?
There's the same reason why I would put them and subjects with plural.
But you put now there were two. That means before there was one, right? Because there's two of them now. What was it before?
Fair assumption.
Yeah, and that's what you wrote down, correct?
Prior to that, it's indicative based upon the plurality of grammar that I used that there were two, and probably now would be more of an explanation You could go that route, but I'll follow your train of thought.
But you don't remember the guy, at first, the guy in the orange shirt.
No, like I said, fair enough.
So, all right, so let's move on a little bit here down the thing. So you put in there, she stated that the male subjects were trespassed and needed to leave. Well, if she didn't know about the guy in the orange shirt, then she couldn't have been talking about him because you never mentioned that to her, correct?
I can't speak to what Mrs. April Bender thought.
I'm asking what you,
said.
yeah, I'm asking what you said to her. So how did you read?
I answered that. I don't recall what I said to her. According to my case report, she spoke to me.
Okay, so she took you behind the car, not you took her. So she took you behind the car, but you don't remember what she said to you.
Now, according to my case report, it says right here, blah, 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 da, 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 da. They're standing in front of a male recording. I took her away from out of view of the camera.
Yes. And you don't remember how long, what you said, nothing else. All you know is that you took her out of view. So that you're just admitting that you took her back there. She didn't take you back there.
That's how it's worded in my case report.
Yeah. So she took you back there. You don't remember what she said. But then when you walked back out there, there were two now, a guy in an orange shirt and a guy in a black shirt. What did the guy in the orange shirt do to you?
I don't independently recall. I would have to look at my case report.
Okay. What did you say to me when I asked you the first time for your name and badge number?
I don't recall you asking me that.
Okay. So what did you say when I asked you the second time your name and badge number?
That's answered in the very beginning of this interview. You said you asked me 5 times. I
Yep.
didn't answer.
Yep. So I'm going to go over each time. I just want to know if you remember what you said. So what you said the second time, you don't
I
remember.
don't remember.
Okay. And then do you remember what you said the third time I asked you for your name and badge number?
Negative. I don't remember.
Okay. Can you remember what you said the fourth time I asked you for your name and badge number?
Don't remember.
Okay. Do you remember what you said the fifth time I asked you for your name and badge number?
Don't remember, probably because Mr. Tripolani was talking to me, and I can only listen to one person at a time.
Okay. Okay. So right after I asked you the fifth time, you walked over and arrested. You don't remember what you said, correct?
To your question,
Yeah.
you saying that you asked me what my name and badge number is? No,
Yes.
I don't remember if I said anything.
Okay. Then, so after the fifth time I asked you, if I was to say that you're on video saying, all right, then that's it. And then you went and arrested Roy. Would you believe that would be true?
I don't know. I don't know what video you're referring to.
So I asked you the fifth time and you was irritated with me. And instead of answering me, you said, that's it. But you walked towards me, but then you arrested Roy. And I'm just trying to figure out why did you arrest Roy?
Okay, is this about your case or his?
Well, we was standing next to each other, so they're pretty combined. I was standing next to him. The guy in the orange shirt was standing next to the guy in the black shirt, right?
So your question is why I did not arrest you and arrested him?
You went to arrest him after I asked you 5 times for your name and badge number. Then you put away your pad and pencil because you put away your pad and pencil. Then you went and arrested Roy, correct?
I arrested Roy because he refused to leave and he's trespassed.
Okay. Did you? How long did you give him to leave? After you asked him to leave. So after you asked him to leave, what happened after you asked him to leave? What did he say to you?
I don't recall, but it'll be a reasonable amount of time.
Do you remember saying to to Officer Dial that you asked him to leave and then he said, fuck you? You remember saying that to Officer Dial on his body cam?
I don't know an Officer Dial.
Okay, Sergeant Dial, I'm sorry. Okay, Sergeant Dial, you remember Sergeant Dial, you telling him that Roy said, fuck you when you asked him to leave?
I don't recall that. You would have to see Sergeant Dial's report for that.
Yes, but I'm asking you, did you say that to Sergeant Dial? That Roy told you to fuck you?
I don't recall that. It's not my case report.
So, if it ain't in your case report, do you think it didn't happen?
Negative.
Okay, so, but if he did say fuck you, is that against the law to say fuck you?
Not at all.
Okay, then why would you try to say that to Sergeant Dial and not put that in your report?
Again, I don't recall saying that, so you would have to refer to his report.
Okay, and his body cam, because his body cam, you didn't get to review his either, but do you know, did he have a body cam on, do you know?
I don't know.
Was there anyone else in the area with a body cam, do you know?
Don't know.
Do you know who, let's see here, do you know who Officer Anaya is?
Say it again.
Anaya. Is that Anaya?
That would probably be a good guess on how you say that.
So
That's the one, the officer that I contacted told me that there was a reading of a case report. Moments later, Officer Anaya told me there was a male subject wearing a black shirt and blue jeans that was video recording.
yes, okay. Did he, so since you put a male in a black shirt, so he didn't say nothing about a male in an orange shirt, or you put it on this report, right?
Fair enough.
So when you walked out there to address the male guy wearing a black shirt, what was the purpose of going out there that he was recording?
Like I stated in my police report here, says I walked over to the male subject and advised him that he could record, but he would not have to pass a designated area because he would be entering a crime scene.
Yes. And then you walked directly over to take April Binder behind the vehicle, and then you came out to trespass him, correct?
No, I didn't trespass him.
Did the manager tell him to leave herself?
I don't know. I don't recall that.
Did you know if the manager ever talked to him at all? Did you ever see the manager talking to him?
No, I don't recall that.
Okay. So, all right. So, let's go with April Binder. Did you? She's the manager of that complex, right? Is that what you're saying?
According to the case report, she is the property manager of the complex.
So April Binder, so back to this. So you say I told them they were trespassed, but April Binder never did know about the guy in the orange shirt. So she must have only been talking about the guy in the black shirt, correct?
I cannot speak or know what was in Mrs. Binder's thoughts or what she saw or heard or did. I can't speak for her. You'd have to speak for her or ask her questions.
Okay. So do you remember after you arrested Roy, where did you walk him to?
See my case report here.
So you don't remember? Do you remember where you walked him to?
I couldn't give you an exact
All right,
information from.
that's an answer. All right, so you don't remember where you walked him to, but while you was walking, do you remember ripping off your badge? Or ripping off your badge? You remember that?
Sure.
Do you remember why you ripped off your badge?
Yes.
Okay, tell me why you ripped off your badge.
Well, if I remember correctly, I can't speak to Mr. Tripolani exactly what he said, but to the roughly again, he was like, if it wasn't for that badge, I think you're some tough guy. Well, I'll fight you right now. So I ripped it off to show him that, hey, we're human behind this badge. You have legal rights in this country. You have the right to move and live and breathe as a free citizen in the liberty of this country. Just because I wear a badge doesn't change me as a person. So with the badge or without the badge, I'm a human being just like he is. And that's what it was to show.
Okay, so when you took your badge off, did you take his handcuffs off?
No.
So you was going to fight a guy in handcuffs?
Why would you say that? Because I just answered your question and said that was not the intent.
Well, you said that he said something about you wouldn't do this or fight you or whatever without that badge. So you took the badge off and you was going to fight a man with handcuffs?
No, I just answered the question. It was to show him that we're human beings just like him, and he has the right to move and live and breathe in this free country and have the liberty to say and record what he wants. Just because we wear a badge doesn't mean we're any different from him. That was the intent.
Okay, so so is there any other reason that you ripped off the badge for? Is that the only reason?
Oh, absolutely.
And so did he say badge and gun? Did you take off your gun too?
Is that a joke question?
Well, you took off your badge.
Yeah.
But
a Velcro badge, yep.
but you left your gun on and wanted to fight a guy in handcuffs.
How do you read into that? I want to fight a guy. That dude's like 2 feet, 300 pounds heavier than I am. That would be stupid on my part.
Is that why you handcuffed him?
I handcuffed him because he's under arrest.
And what was he under arrest for when you handcuffed him?
He's trespassing.
Okay, he was trespassing. All right. So how many times?
Mr. Brown, I'm going to interrupt you. Okay, this is Mr. Tripolani's case. Let's talk about your case, because if these are the line of questions, we're going to keep going about Mr. Tripolani. I'm going to end the interview.
We was together, right? So everything that happened with him, I was standing there, correct? I was the guy in the orange shirt,
Well,
right?
then let's just focus on your aspect, not his, because I already had my interview with him.
Okay, I was standing next to you and him when you ripped your badge off, and I was recording that. You remember that?
Nope.
Okay, do you remember saying right in the beginning that we said we were live streaming? You put that in the report that we were live streaming.
It says in my report. Let's see here. And it stated they were live feeding and recording.
Where's the other copy? So you said, yeah, live stream and recording. Is that what you said?
Yes, that's what it states in my report.
Okay, so you know that was being live streamed. Do you know how many people were watching?
No clue.
Did you ever? Do you know the name of my YouTube channel?
No, I don't.
Do you know the name of Roy's YouTube channel?
On my bi-location report, it states that. Let's see.
I'm going by memory on this.
See, all body worn camera footage for further detail and all the footage from arrestees on the website Pigs Under Pressure. I have no idea if that's yours or his.
Okay, so you're saying Pigs Under Pressure live streamed this event? That's what.
I have no idea.
Well, that's what you're saying in the report, right? Pigs Under Pressure was live.
No, I was saying someone had a camera that was recording that.
But you don't mention any other one besides Pigs Under Pressure, correct?
Correct. It's the only one.
So he's all right. So all right, let's go to some of the stuff on your report too. Give me so how long have you worked for Tucson Police Department?
17 years.
Okay. And in what rank are you?
Just an officer, just a lowly officer.
Okay. And then let's talk about your education. Did you graduate high school?
Of course, I don't think you can get a job here without graduating high school.
Okay. Did you graduate college? Do you have a degree?
I don't see the relevance, but no.
You did not graduate college. Okay. How many IA complaints do you have against you?
I have no idea.
Do they tell you?
No.
So do you have any IA besides mine or this incident? Do you have any other IA reports? Complaints? Have you ever heard of any other IA in the last 17 years? Did anyone ever try to put an IA report on you?
I don't know. You would have to refer back to the OPS to
So you don't
find
remember.
that information.
Ain't that something you would remember if you got disciplined for IA or if there was a report on you?
Yeah, it's a long career, man.
So you don't remember. You could have though. You're just saying you don't remember, but you could have some other IA complaints against you.
Sure. I like I said, I wouldn't know. You have to contact OPS for that. That's a whole different department. I don't know how that works.
What about lawsuits? Have you ever been sued, but in your capacity as a police officer?
I've never had anything that I could recall being sued. No.
So did you ever testify in a lawsuit and deposition ever?
With a lawsuit, not that I can recall. No.
Okay. All right. Let me go back here. So you said you didn't graduate. Did you go to college at all?
Sure.
Okay. But you didn't graduate, but what was you studying?
Oh, just like every other person, liberal arts, right?
I don't know. Is that normal back in, what year did you go to college?
No, I don't know. Late 90s, I guess.
So what college did you go to?
Irrelevant. I declined to answer that question.
Well, it obviously was a liberal arts college because you said everyone there was liberal arts.
I'm guessing most people go to college for liberal arts, is my understanding.
Okay. Is most people, so like engineering, is there other things to go to college for besides liberal arts?
Yeah, common sense would say that.
Okay. All right. So, okay. So I asked you before, you don't remember what the first thing you said to Roy was, correct?
I don't remember what.
What the first thing you said to Roy, the guy in the black shirt? You don't remember what you said to him at first?
According to our case report, I advised him that he could record just as long as he doesn't pass the designated area.
That's right. And you stated he didn't pass the designated area, but you still went and trespassed him, correct?
I didn't trespass him.
And you're saying April Binder did, not you.
According to that, and then he trespassed himself by refusing to leave.
Okay. And after you asked him to leave, how much time did you give him to leave after you asked him to leave?
A reasonable amount of time.
How much was that?
I couldn't tell you.
Okay. What's a reasonable amount of time?
You can't define define a reasonable amount of time
Then why'd you say it?
because that's a reasonable amount of time.
What is a reasonable amount of time?
I just told you can't define it
Then why do you say that? I mean, if you can't define it, why are you talking about it? Why are you saying that?
because general person, the mass public, normally speaking, understands what a reasonable amount of time is based upon
Except for
the
you.
totality of circumstance and the immediacy of the area.
Okay. Do you know what a reasonable amount of time is?
Sure,
Okay, what is it?
a reasonable amount of time.
Okay. So you're not a reasonable person. You said any reasonable person understands what a reasonable amount of time is.
Yep.
So is there a set number? Do you give them 10 minutes, 10 seconds, 2 seconds? Is 2 seconds a reasonable amount of time?
It depends on the situation.
Okay, in this situation we're talking about, I'll give you 15 seconds. Is 15 seconds an unreasonable amount of time?
Well, based upon the human mind, only takes with no stress a half a second to make a decision, and under stress 3/4 of a second to make a decision and process information. Yeah, so about 15 seconds, based upon your train of thought, if that is the correct time that you want to go through. I think 15 seconds is a reasonable amount of time.
Okay, thank you for answering that. Okay, was there any crime tape up at the time when the guy in the black shirt walked up?
Don't recall.
Okay. Well, where he was standing, so obviously you never seen him cross any crime tape because you told him he'd be allowed to stand there, right?
Sure, I guess that's reasonable.
So there was no crime tape where he was standing at. So
I don't recall.
did you ever see any of us cross a yellow tape line?
I don't recall.
So the area you saw him at, before you asked him to leave, he was allowed to be there, right?
Sure.
Okay. Did you ask me to leave too, or just him?
I don't recall.
So you don't recall if you ever asked me to leave, but you're sure you asked him to leave, right?
According to my case report,
And
see here. It says, I told them that they were trespassed, so that would include you, were trespassed and they needed to leave. The manager wants them off property. I attempted to get names, but they would not provide them, nor would they leave. I placed a male in the black shirt and handcuffs from refusing to leave.
okay. All right. So, but you don't remember that. You're just reading off your report again, correct?
I'm reading off my report.
Okay. So, do you remember ever seeing me or Roy break the law?
Sure.
Okay, let's talk about that. What law did you see Roy break?
Refusing to leave as it states in my case report, and that would be violation of the law of trespassing.
Okay, did he actually refuse to leave? He told you he wouldn't leave?
I don't recall that.
So how did he refuse? What did he do to refuse to leave?
By not moving.
So if he stood there and asking you questions, that wouldn't be refusing to leave. He asked you a question, right?
No, your person can do both. Refuse to leave, and just like a child, when you tell your child to go to your room, they sit there and argue with you. They're still
Okay.
arguing with you, but they're still refusing to go to the room.
So you're calling Roy a child.
No, just an analogy.
Okay.
I'm a simple man, so I'll use simple terms.
Okay. You go to this next page here. Okay, so I'm going by Sergeant Dial's body-worn camera. Okay, on his body worn camera, you told Sergeant Dial that you asked Roy to leave, and he said, "No, fuck you." And you remember that?
Again, you have to. I can't look at any video body work footage, so I
Okay.
can't testify to that.
So according to this, he said, "No, fuck you," and then you gave the thumbs out like a referee when someone's out. You put the thumbs up and thumbs out. Would that be a correct statement? You remember that?
Again, I don't have body worn cameras where I could look.
So they're locking you out of your body worn camera, and also you can't view Dials either.
Nope.
Okay, and then so at 11:47 on this body worn camera, Chandler tried to get Roy to sit on the curb. Do you remember that?
Again, body worn camera footage, I can't look at it. So
Okay.
I can't testify to that.
And then he couldn't sit on the curb because of his bad knees. So then you tried to get him to sit on somebody else's car, correct?
Again, body worn camera footage, I can't testify to that.
Okay. Do you remember that car you was trying to get him to sit on? Was that your car?
Again, is this a body worn camera footage question? Because I will
Yeah.
never be able. The answer is going to be the same.
But I'm just going by what you did and said and all that. That's all I can go by. So you don't recall none of this, that you tried to get him to sit on the curb. You don't remember that. And you don't remember trying to get him to sit on someone else's car.
Let's see my case report here.
I'm asking if you remember. So,
Same thing. It says here, I attempted to get the names, but I walked him, the guy in the black shirt, to another area in attempts to have him cool down, get him out of the situation, but that did not work. At this time, officers arrived and took over from there. I walked back and got black shirt guy's camera and gave it back to him.
and you handed it to him?
No, I don't recall if well, I can because he's wearing handcuffs, right?
Yes, correct. So how did?
I wouldn't treat someone's property like that and try to hand it to him when he's doing like that. That's mistreating people's property. That's wrong.
Would it be mistreating somebody's property to put something on top of their car without their permission?
No, it depends on your moral and ethical compass. If that's the only place you could treat someone's property correctly, then sure. Why not?
All right.
So he refused to let me put on cars. He wanted me to put on the asphalt. Okay.
Okay, tell me, you mentioned auditor a lot. Tell me your definition of auditor.
I have no idea.
You even put it in your report, didn't you?
Where did I put it in my report?
I don't know. I'm asking you if you did. I'd have to get it back out. But you never mentioned auditor. You don't know what an auditor is?
Let's see. In the context of auditing finances, sure.
Then why would you refer to me and Roy as auditors?
I believe that's what the officers were talking about. Is that what you guys were?
Okay. Who was saying that to you, auditor?
I don't recall that.
But somebody was saying about an auditor, but I just want to know what that means.
You got me, man.
And you did refer to me and Roy as auditors, correct?
Sure.
But you don't know what it means.
No, in the context of financial, like I said, man, could have a million meanings. But an auditor is basically someone to, in the context of finances, to see if their finances are correct and straight on the books. So common sense would say that an auditor in other fields would do the same function. Okay,
so you think that you thought that me and Roy audit people's books?
No, because clearly, I don't know. Maybe you guys do.
But that's what you think an auditor is, and you was referring to us as auditors.
Sure. Why not?
So what gave you the idea that we audit people's books?
I think you misconstrued my answer to that. If you think that's what I meant by that, then that.
I'm asking you what you think an auditor is, because you referred to us as auditors.
Okay, and I told you, as an auditor,
Okay.
when it comes to someone who audits finances, they make sure that they're doing above board, or basically their finances are correct and they're not doing any shenanigans, so to speak. So a common person would believe that the term auditor could be transferred to another field to apply the same principle or concepts.
All right. So what proof that you have, or what thoughts do you have that me and Roy were auditors?
I don't have any proof.
No, I was just wondering why you said that, though.
I told you. I believe that's what they referred to you guys as.
Okay. So they thought that we audited other people's books.
I can't speak for those other officers.
Okay. So do you? Okay. You have to lock these guys out. Okay. I think I asked you this before. Do you know about how long you talked to April Binder behind the SUV?
I couldn't recall.
And do you remember why you took her behind the SUV?
According to my case report, let's see here. They're standing in front of a male recording, and I took her away out of view from the camera so she did not have to be in that environment, since one of her tenants just killed himself and she was so shook up.
So you don't remember other than reading the report?
Sure, fair enough.
Because I'm still asking you about what you remember. So you remember how April Binder described the person that she wanted to trespass to you?
Didn't recall that.
Yeah. Okay. And I think so you don't know how that she described the one that she wanted trespassed.
I cannot speak to April Binder's mindset, what she saw, what she knew, what she heard.
But what'd she tell you? You don't know what she told you.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. So you was there on April 20, that day, April 26th, you said it was, right?
Where was I?
So you was there on Prince, at this situation on Prince Road where we was at, correct?
On September 26th, are you talking about?
Yes. Was you there in mind and spirit? You was there in body, right?
On the Prince address under this call.
Yes.
Was I there? Yes. Or
Okay.
else I wouldn't be
And
able to-
I don't see, how is it that you have no knowledge of the situation at all without your
Like I
report?
said, dime a dozen, man. Been doing it for 17 years. You're talking about thousands upon thousands of calls that I've attended to.
So if your report gets lost or the computer loses or whatever, you have no memory. You won't be able to tell the judge nothing in court at all without your report, correct?
No, like I stated before, the mind's a fickle creature, and I'm not a doctor or psychologist to tell you how the mind works, but sometimes it happens to us all. Sometimes we hear things and it brings back nostalgia or anything that could spark a memory or anything of that nature.
So have you ever been diagnosed with memory problems?
No, if I have, I probably wouldn't have this job.
Okay, so you consider this, you have a good memory?
Good as anybody else, I guess. Whatever a reasonable person would be considered a good memory. I'm not a doctor, so I can't define what a good memory is.
Well, you don't remember nothing about this day, so how could you consider yourself with a good memory?
Because why I would write a case report.
Okay, and without the case report, there's no other memory.
Well, there's
Correct?
plenty of memory. It just depends on what the right question's being asked.
Okay, I'm asking the wrong question, is that what you're saying?
No, look, as stated, I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you how the mind works. Some
Yeah.
questions bring out memories or sparks other memories of some sort, and some don't.
So would you find it unrare that I remember just about everything that happened that day?
No, I think you're a blessed man if you could do that.
And so you kept referring to, when I told you my name was Mark Brown, you kept saying John Doe. Is that another name for Mark Brown? I was trying to figure out why you kept telling me I was John Doe when I told you I was Mark Brown.
Well, I don't see that. Here, let me look at my case report. I have no clue what you're talking about there.
Okay.
Where at in the case report you looking?
I don't go only by the case report. I got memory, so I'm going by my memory. And you said to me several times, every time I told you my name was Mark Brown, you go, John Doe. I'm just going to book you as John Doe. Correct? You remember that?
I don't remember that.
And then,
As a respondent now and took custody of a male subject wearing an orange shirt, he refused to
okay, I got it. You don't got to read the report no more. I got that. I'm asking about what you said about John Doe. And so anyway, and Roy, you booked him as John Doe and you gave him failure to give correct name, what?
Say that again?
Okay, you said you was gonna book Roy in as John Doe, and you booked him in as John Doe.
It's about Roy or about your case?
About Roy.
Oh, well, I'm answering your case.
Okay,
I'm not
both of us was
spending
together.
time on Roy.
Okay, you said to me I was John Doe, and you did the same thing to him. So what I'm asking, what is this asphyxiation with John Doe? Who's John Doe?
So, common vernacular throughout society is that John and Jane Doe when people can't be identified properly.
Okay, but Roy Tripperoni, he gave you his name.
Well, it states here in the case report.
Okay, let's stop talking about the case report.
Name, the date of birth at
Yeah.
first.
I'm pretty.
So that would immediately be the John Doe. And then eventually he gave the name of Mark Brown.
Okay, no, that Roy gave you the name of Mark Brown?
I'm not answering any more questions about Roy. Stick to your case, bro.
Okay, no, this is question. He was standing there too, right? Was Roy there too? Was me and Roy at the same place? Right?
That's a very blanket question.
I asked if we was at the same, was we both there? The guy in the orange shirt and the guy in the black shirt was both there, correct?
When?
On September 20, what we're talking about, September 28th, on your report. On the date on your report, what's the date on that report, the top of the report? On that day, we're talking about the day that's on the top of your report.
So in the very beginning you're talking about when you guys first made contact?
Oh, did this happen more than one day?
No.
Okay, it was one day. Okay, what was the day? What's the day at the top of the report? You like referring to that. What's the date on that report?
I have 22092600183.
Okay, so 2/6. So that's the day we're talking about. So we're talking about that day.
September 26th.
Yes, me and Roy was both there. Correct? And you wrote out two sets of tickets. One to me, one to Roy, right?
Yep.
What did you charge me with?
I have to go back and look. Just give me a second.
So you don't remember what you charged me with?
I'm gonna tell you, man. Gotta look. charge was 132904A2 and 131502A1.
Okay, and what is the first one?
22904A2 is disorderly conduct.
Okay, what did you see me do that was disorderly?
Oh, I didn't.
So you charged me with disorderly conduct, but you don't have any first or second hand knowledge of what I did was disorderly?
Sure, multiple officers in a sergeant direction.
So they just told you I was disorderly, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
What did they say that I did that was disorderly?
I couldn't recall that.
Okay, can you tell me what the disorderly statute is?
No, not offhand, no. I would have to look it up.
So you,
Exact verbatim verbiage for it.
well, just what is your general, you charged me with that, right?
Sure.
You wrote me a citation for disorderly conduct, correct? Okay. So, but you don't know anything that I did this disorderly. You have no knowledge of it. Correct?
Like I said, sergeant direction, multiple officers,
Okay.
and then.
I'm asking you, do you have any knowledge of me being disorderly? You personally?
I just answered it, man.
So no, you
I
don't.
know.
So no, you don't. And what about the second charge? What was the second charge for?
Criminal trespass in third degree.
Okay, what is criminal trespassing? Explain that to me.
Again, I would have to look at the exact verbiage.
Okay, what basically you wrote it out, right? So you should know when you write somebody with trespassing, you should know the statute, correct?
Oh no, that's why we have the ARS to refer to the exact statute to make sure we're not arresting people falsely.
So, you have any knowledge of me trespassing?
Oh sure.
Okay. Now
You refuse to leave.
okay. Right? No, did I? So in the body cam, you said that I left, that I did not refuse to leave. Correct? Do you remember that?
I have no access to body worn camera, so I can't testify that.
Okay. So if I was to tell you that you said that I left when I was told, but the other guy didn't, the guy in the black shirt didn't. Correct? You remember that?
Again, I don't have access to body worn camera,
Okay.
so I can't say that.
And
Can't
then,
testify to that.
and then right after you admitted that I wasn't trespassing, then you cited me for trespassing, right? That was you, right?
Cited you for trespassing?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm the one that wrote the ticket, yes.
Yes, you cited me for trespassing.
I'm the one that wrote the ticket, absolutely.
And trespassing means staying on the property after asked to leave. Is that correct?
Multiple things. You don't have.
Is that
People
what-
don't have to ask you. It can be posted as long as it's clearly
Okay.
and visible. They don't
Okay.
have to ask you to leave. You're in violation already.
Okay. Was it posted there that day? No trespassing?
Couldn't tell you. I didn't look.
Well, you wrote the ticket, so wouldn't you go look and see? So,
No.
okay. So
Because
tell
I
me.
trust the officers who are giving me information. That happens all the time.
Okay.
Like, hey, write this ticket for me while I'm doing this. This is the charge.
So who told you to write me a ticket for trespassing?
Like I said, I couldn't remember, but I think it was just direction of Sergeant Dial. I don't know for sure, but I think that would be it.
Okay. But do you have any firsthand knowledge of me trespassing then?
Asked and answered.
So you don't, right? You don't have no firsthand knowledge. You never. You say you asked me to leave, correct?
Let's see my case report here.
I'm asking you what you remember still.
Again, couldn't recall, man.
Okay. All right, let's see here. Let's start going over. So you don't know what the statute for trespassing is, and you don't know whether I was trespassing or not. Only Sergeant Dial knows, correct? Or whoever told you.
I do not know the exact verbiage of the statute for trespassing.
So if Sergeant Dial told you to write a ticket for somebody for trespassing, and you know they weren't trespassing, would you still do that?
Would I, let's say, again, make sure I heard you right. Would I write a ticket for somebody because I was told to, and even though I knew they weren't,
Yes.
I would write it? No.
Okay, you wouldn't,
No.
but you did.
I wrote a ticket.
Yes. And right before you wrote that ticket, you told me that I left when I was asked to. Correct?
I don't recall that.
Okay.
Let me look at my case report.
No,
here.
it's not on your case report. So anyway, stop looking at your case report. I'm asking you questions that ain't on the case report anymore. So when you went out to me, I was on a public sidewalk, right? On Prince, is that correct?
I don't recall.
Was I on private property at that time?
I couldn't recall.
Was I in Tucson?
Sure.
Okay,
Tucson,
all right. Okay, we're pinning down. So I was in Tucson on that day, but that's all you know. You don't know where I was at when you arrested me, any of that.
Oh, you're back in my car because I'm the one that handcuffed you.
Okay, where was your car parked at?
On Prince.
Okay, now we're getting to somewhere. Okay, on Prince. All right. So you was on Prince, and then and why? Do you remember telling you that I was too big to get into that car? You remember that?
I don't recall that. I don't remember.
And then you said to me, you laughed at me and said, "I know," but you still made me get in the car, correct?
Again, I can't recall that.
Okay, was I in the back of the car?
Yes, you're in the back of the car.
Okay, and who put me in the back of the car?
I did.
Why did you put me in the back of the car?
Because you're, I don't know how tall, and the weight and double cuffed and handcuffs were put in front of you, and you're put with your feet. You weren't sitting in the car. You're in an upright 90-degree position where you could not be asphyxiated, and you had clear breathing of your airway.
Okay, that wasn't the question. That wasn't the question. I asked you why you put me in the back of the car.
Because you're under arrest.
Okay, and then when I told you that I was too big to get in the back of the car, you still
Apparently you weren't too big because you fit.
Okay, but you laughed and you say, "I know you are." So you know that putting me in the back of the car is actually a form of torture. You're putting someone in a small confined space, correct?
No.
Okay. Have you ever been in
Based upon the threshold of the individual person and the mental toughness of the individual.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with measurements.
Okay. Oh, so you could put a 2-foot thing in a 1-foot box? Is that what you're saying?
Sure, there's contortionists that do it all the time.
Okay. So do you have a reason to believe I'm a contortionist?
No, but you fit in the car just fine.
Oh, okay.
Your handcuffs were placed in front of you, and your legs were stretched out where you could reach both ends in your upright position. So yes, you could fit in the back of the police car comfortably.
Okay. And that's your opinion that I was in there comfortably.
Sure.
And before I went in there, do you remember me asking for medical help?
I don't recall that.
You recall me ever asking for medical attention?
Let's see here in my case.
Without looking at the report, sir, I'm not talking about your report anymore. I'm asking you.
And I told you, my answer's going to be the same, Mr. Mark, and I'm going to end this interview if you keep asking me questions that don't refer to my report, because that's what we're reviewing.
Okay, no. That is one of the elements, sir. One of the elements is your report. And your report is very, very misleading. So I'm going by what actually happened, not what you put on your report. So I already went over most of your report, and I got it. You don't have a good memory. You didn't put anything on your report that actually happened, so I'm surprised you was even there, but let's go on now. So we have to get through this interview because I'm not even halfway through this, and you're not you don't have any memory outside of the report. So we're going to have to,
So if I don't have any outside memory of the report, then why do we need to continue this interview?
well, 'cause I need to know how bad your memory is, because you don't remember nothing at all. And there is body worn cams of this, even your own. So we're going to be using.
That I cannot answer to, and that I do not have access to.
So when do you think you're going to have access to this?
I have no idea. That's beyond my call.
Okay. So before we go any other questions,
That's for that.
so we're going to have to. You're going to have to be able to look at your reports before we go through a lot of other stuff. So I'm going to try to. So I have so many questions about Sergeant Dials that you was on, and other things that you don't remember at all. So
That's why you need to talk to Sergeant Dial.
yes, and I got him on Wednesday, but I need to know what you thought, because you was the one that arrested me, correct?
I'm the one that wrote you the ticket.
Yes. You're the one that arrested me. You're the one that put me in the back of your car, and correct?
Yeah, it says he was placed in the back of a patrol car vehicle and handcuffs with them in the front. He then asked for meds but could not articulate why after asking multiple times. He eventually stated he is lightheaded. He was taken out of the vehicle and would not respond to questions. He laid on his side, and I told the officers to get him sitting upright.
Okay. Again,
TFD medic responded and checked him. Mark gave TFD a hard time from what I could hear from mumblings from inside the vehicle. TFD stated that all Mark's vital signs were good and he showed no signs of any health issues.
okay, how?
He's from the scene.
Okay, I got it. I got your report, and I'm still. So how did I give him a hard time? Do you know?
You would have to refer to all the body worn cameras or the officers on scene because I clearly dictate in my case report.
So, and you say in the report too that you had your body camera on. You did in the report it says refer to my body camera, correct?
Say that again.
So, in your report, at the end of your report, you say that you did have your body cam on. It's because it says
It
refer.
states that, in my case report, it states see supplements and body worn camera for detail referring to victim.
Yeah. So it says see all body worn camera footage for further detail, and all footage from arrestee on their website, Pigs Under Pressure. Correct?
Yep,
You put that on your report.
correct.
And so you said Roy not providing legal name that could be found in a records check.
There's a question about you.
Yeah, but I'm going on your report. You have a report right here. You said Roy not providing any legal name that could be found in the records check, so he was cited and released under John Doe. You asked me earlier what you said about John Doe, and I'm just reading this to you on your report. You put that on your report, correct?
Again, you're not answering. It's not has to do with you. It has to do with Roy. I've already
I got it.
conducted my interview with them.
Yes, and we talked about John Doe, and you asked me when I brought that in there, and you brought that up to me as well as Roy, correct? Both of us.
Cool.
Because so you cited and released him under John Doe, correct?
Well, there's a question about you. I declined to
Okay,
answer that.
okay, I'm reading from your report. Did you write this on your report, sir? Roy not providing legal name that could be found in a records check, so he was cited and released under John Doe. Did you put that in your report?
Let me see if I can find it.
It's the very, it's the right above the statement you just read, the very last statement right above it.
It says Roy not providing legal name that could not be found in records check, so he cited and released under John Doe.
Yes. So he gave you his name as Roy Tripperoni, right?
Again, refusing to answer. Let's talk about you.
Okay.
I've already had my interview with him.
This is on your report, so you can't remember nothing else but on your report. So I'm trying to stick to things on your report. We're going to have to schedule another time when you get access to the other body-worn cameras and your own, But I'm trying to stick to the things on the report now and get through at least the stuff on the report before we have to reschedule. Because this is not working. You don't remember nothing at all, and you won't even answer the simple things that's on your report. I'm just asking you, did you put that on your report? That statement?
I already stated yes.
Okay. And then the second question was, why did you put him as John Doe when you knew his name was Roy Tripperoni?
And I answered him that question and during his interview.
And what did you answer him? What did you tell him?
You'd have to talk to him.
So you don't remember that either. But you did put that on his. You cited him for not giving you a name, and you released him under John Doe. You did do that.
Citation for it.
And but you don't remember why. Why did you put?
You would have to talk to him and listen to that interview. Since you are representing yourself, I'm sure you have access to that interview.
When did you interview with him?
I don't remember. A month ago, something like that. Couldn't tell you.
How do I get access to that interview?
I don't know. I'm not a self-proclaimed lawyer. I don't know.
Do you
Contact a prosecutor.
Do you have access to that interview?
I would have to talk to the prosecutor.
So you don't know if you have access to that?
Sorry?
You don't know if you have access to that?
I have no idea, no.
All righty. Okay. It was the next day when you went back to interview the two witnesses, correct?
Apparently that's what you guys say, so I guess it's all true.
I'm asking you, do you remember that being the case?
Don't remember.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going back to your reports. I'm going to try to stick things just on your report because we're going to have to go further on the other stuff. So you put it on your report, the second page. I'm going to read it to you. Furthering this investigation, I contacted with James Bajerky. He was watching television on his second apartment, which is on Prince Road and is loud due to traffic. Is that correct?
I am reading that. That is correct. It says, furthering this investigation, I contacted victim James Bajerky. He stated he was watching television on his second apartment, which is on Prince Road and is loud due to traffic.
Okay, so a second apartment. So he has two apartments. Where's his first apartment? Do you know?
On his second apartment, I don't know. Maybe I forgot their first floor.
Oh, so you think he was watching from a second floor apartment, not a second apartment?
I don't know.
Okay,
Maybe. I don't recall.
here's a question I should ask right at the beginning. Is everything on your report true and accurate to the best of your knowledge?
Sure.
Everything, right? The whole report, start to finish, is true and accurate.
Sure. Well, describe fair and accurate.
It means the truth of what really happened. No mistakes.
Context and the actual of what they're transpired, yes. Is it inerrant and flawless when it comes to grammatical and paragraphical setup? Probably not.
Okay. So it's
Because we all make human errors, right?
okay.
I'm not an English professor and I do not have a degree in English. So when it comes to grammar structure and sentence structure and paragraph structure, or spelling or use of vernacular or common terminologies, sure, someone could probably find a flaw with that.
All right. So after that one that you just read, furthering the contact, what was the next sentence on that?
States that he heard a male subject yelling, "Here, piggy, piggy," over and over, and it was so loud that his peace was disturbed and caused him to walk outside to see what was going on. He then stated he saw men, one in an orange shirt, another in a black shirt, yelling this phrase and being belligerent towards officers. He took offense to this type of behavior and he wanted to prosecute.
All right. So did you ever hear me yell, "Here, piggy, piggy"?
Negative.
Okay. And is is yelling "Here, piggy, piggy"? Is that disorderly conduct?
If it's disturbing someone's peace, yes.
So that's the requirement for disturbing someone's peace, is that they hear it?
Sure. If it's disturbing the peace.
So, yeah, and you mentioned that he's on Prince Road, and that's pretty loud, ain't it?
Sure.
So is the car driving by disturbing the peace?
Not if he chooses not to be disturbing the peace.
Okay. So you think that mere words can be disturbing the peace, just saying a word?
I don't think that. That's the law states.
So depends on how loud. Does he say how loud I was yelling it?
Apparently, it's loud enough over the traffic on Prince Road.
Apparently.
And over his TV that he could hear it.
Okay, and then the guy, the other guy on the bottom floor, you remember his name?
I couldn't tell you. I'd have to look at my case report.
And is he the guy that he claims to be law enforcement, correct?
So in addition, I spoke to I guess you pronounce it Taraki Coleman, who resides on the bottom floor in Unit 2002. Tariq stated that he arrived home from work with his vest and gun on his hip since he works law enforcement. He arrived home and then heard a male yelling really loud, "The police, TPD sucks." His 10-year-old son got scared and it disturbed Tariq as well. He took off his vest and gun and walked outside to see a male subject in an orange shirt yelling these statements. He asked him to leave because he was disturbing his peace and scaring his child or his kid. He advised that he was law enforcement too and that what he was saying was not right. Mark continued to yell and approach and get in Tariq's face. Tariq then saw Roy walk up with his camera, live feeding what was going on. Roy began cussing at Tariq and then started to live feed film inside Tariq's house with his wife and kids present inside.
So Tariq saw me walk up to him and get in his face. Is that what you said? That's what he's told you?
It says Mark continued to yell and approach and get in Tariq's face. That's what case report states.
So, you have any knowledge of was I in the sidewalk at that time? Do you know where I was at when that happened?
I have no idea.
But he told you that I walked up to him and got in his face then, right?
Well, I couldn't remember.
And he says several times about law enforcement, and you put it in here. He advised me he was law enforcement and saying that was not right. Do you remember that?
I remember reading from a case report. It states that since he works in law enforcement, he arrived home and heard a man yelling. And you skip down. He says that he was law enforcement too, and what he was saying was not right.
And then I continued to yell and approach and get in Tariq's face, right?
And Mark continued to yell and approach and get in Tariq's face. That's correct.
And he told you that, correct?
I couldn't recall that.
Well, how would you put it on the paper? You had to hear it from somewhere, right?
Sure.
So you stated on your thing that everything on this report is true and accurate.
Absolutely.
Okay. So he must have told you that, or you wouldn't have put it on the report, correct?
No, there's plenty of times that when we do investigations that we get information from multiple officers because we're one person. We can't interview 20 people at a time. So we have to depend on the other officers getting information.
Yeah, but they wrote a report. That would be on their report, right? Because they wrote a report too.
Maybe. I don't know. I guess.
Why would you put what somebody else did on your report? You're just supposed to put on your report what you saw and what he said to you, correct?
Not if there's a PC statement on the case officer.
Okay. Denial referring to victims. And then you go see supplements and body worn camera for detail referring to victims. Okay, I did watch them to the body cams of the second day. The next day, they were dated the next day. Same way was your report. Your report is dated the 27th, but this happened on the 26th. And then, is that correct?
I don't know.
Okay, read the first submitted at the first page of this, narrated by David Chandler. That's you, right?
So you're talking about the face sheet?
Yes, it says narrated by David Chandler, the very first page at the top.
I would have to get to that.
It says narrated by David Chandler, correct?
So when I look in my Axon right here, I'm probably looking at something you're different, but it says date and time 9/26/2022
Yep.
at 1600.
Yep, so that's the time of your first body worn camera, correct? That's the day of the incident.
I have no idea. I don't have access to my body worn camera.
Okay, do you have your report in front of you that says narrated by David Chandler, that report, the first page?
Like I said, I'm looking at a different format than you.
I'm asking you to look at I'm asking you to look at your report. What we've been going over this whole time. It says narrated by David Chandler, first submitted 09/27/2022 at 11:58.
See, I don't see that since I have a different format. I just see, it just says the class, it says the date, time, the address, the division, the officer, the case.
Okay,
And I had the date and time of 9/26/22 at 1600.
that's when it happened. But your report was done on 9/27/2022, correct?
Again, I'm looking at a different format. I don't see that yet. Maybe if I try to click on a different tab here. Yeah, I don't see that anywhere. The only thing it shows me is the 9/22.
So it says first submitted 9/27, and it happened on 9/26. It was the day after. 9/26 is the day before 9/27, correct?
Yeah.
So you made this report the next day, and on your body worn cameras, when you went to their apartment on Prince the next day, that was on the 27th.
Again, if you're saying I have no access to my body worn camera.
Yes, this has nothing to do with that. I'm going from your report that you have in front of you. So
And I'm telling you, my case report that I have in front of me doesn't give that information.
Okay,
It
so
says date, time, 9/26/22 at 1600.
so
And it says address, 520 West Prince, Tucson, Arizona, 85705. Officers, David Chandler, Aguilar, and that's a face
all right.
sheet that I
Let's
get.
not read no more. I already got your report, so I've got that. So and I read that several times already, and that is
All I'm
basically.
saying is, you're saying the 27th. I don't see that anywhere, because I probably have a different format than you.
Is it common?
It's not showing that.
Is it common that you would make the report the next day? Is that common?
No, it depends. Yeah, depends how busy we are.
So that's common. Okay, and then is it common you went back to the two victims the next day?
I can't speak for everybody, but apparently you're saying I went the next day. I don't recall that.
Yeah.
So okay.
So if I told you went the next day with Aguilar, you and Aguilar went the next day, and both of you got that on your body worn cameras.
No, I don't have access to my
I know you
body-worn
don't.
camera, and I have
But-
no clue.
But so if the body worn camera shows that both of you went the next day, you think that'd probably be correct, right?
Sure, if it's body-worn camera states it, sure.
Why
not?
wouldn't you? Can you tell me why you didn't go get his statement the same day?
I couldn't tell you.
And don't you need the probable cause before you arrest me? Not go back to get it the next
Sure.
day?
That's how the law works. Yeah, you're right in that.
Okay, so what probable cause did you have to arrest me?
The PC that was given by direction of Sergeant Dial, multiple officers that told me the PC, like when you do investigation, there's more people, I need more officers. I can't interview everyone at once. So I depend on all the officers to give me that information. And as I stated before, you stated that they would be ideally would be in those other officers' case reports.
Yes. And did you read any of their case reports?
Negative. Because it's not about them, it's about my case report.
Yeah. So if your case report conflicts with theirs. Which one do you think is going to be more correct?
I don't know.
So I have about 6 big pages of questions, but they're all about the body-worn camera stuff that you have no
My
knowledge.
general orders, I cannot go past 1800. So regardless, it ends at 1800.
What do you mean your general orders?
My general orders, I can't do interviews off time, off duty, overtime.
Oh, that's in your general orders. You're saying that is in your general orders right now? It says that you can't go past 6 o'clock?
Last time I checked, internal interviews need to be done on duty. And you cannot get paid overtime for an attorney interview unless you have chain of command approval.
Yeah, that's because we started an hour late. So let's see. Let's go back. Let's see here.
Well, we can always set up another interview.
Okay, when's a good time for you to set up another interview?
Sure, 3 o'clock work. Again, it's all dictates on what happens in patrol.
Okay, here's what let's do. Let's see if I'm going to try to work on getting you access. I have all the body-worn cameras and stuff, and I got to figure out how we're going to get this to you, or you can.
I would, as a suggestion, and you can do whatever you want to do, Mark. The best course of action to do that is probably contact the prosecutor, because they'll probably have more pull.
Prosecutor or the Office of Professional Standards, correct?
Prosecutor, because they're the ones who are going to need it, right?
Yeah, and they. Yep.
OPS will probably ask you. Again, I'm assuming they'll probably ask you. Well,
I
why do you
already-
need it?
Yep.
For this case, and then if
Yep.
the prosecutor just calls, hey, we need this.
All right.
That'd probably
So
be-
we're already past that. I had that on Thursday, and I talked with the prosecutor and the judge, and so both, and I let him know that there was a problem with the body worn camera because of the internal investigation. I thought it was over now because he did get a letter stating, Roy did, stating that it was already looked into and you were disciplined and the matter's closed. So that's all I got.
I have not been advised by OPS that I can have access to his body worn data.
Yes, that's all I can tell you is what that letter says. That they, so after you review, and they also gave me the prosecutor also gave me the evidence of the live stream. So it'd probably be better at least review the Dials, Aguilar's, everyone's body worn camera that was there, as well as your own. And I don't have yours of that day. So, and I'm bringing this up with the prosecutor too. So I'm trying to get your body worn camera of the day because all I got is the next day from you.
Cool.
All right. So can you call me back when you get that? I'll put in for another one, but when you get them body worn cameras and have time to review them, then we'll do the second interview.
Copy.
All right.
All right, Mark. Have a good night, dude.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
And he's gonna say he heard that time of review.
That's okay. I'm bringing it up to the judge. This is all gonna be done through him. That was the most worthless fucking guy ever.
No, that's what they do though. That's why they make their reports so big and, I
But,
can't remember.
Yeah, and his report's full of lies, so, and it's easy to prove.
Yeah, which I wanted to say, when you have your body worn camera, you would see that everything in your report contradicts the body worn camera. So that's why I'm asking you these questions.
Yeah.
Idiot. Okay. Okay, so you have air fryer instructions on here, conventional oven, fryer, air fryer, ooh, 375 interesting. Layer. 8-minute cook. Okay. 375. Okay. Get the grilling, huh? Air fryer basket. Oy. Oh. Start. 6 minutes.
Need to stop this.